Welcome back on my channel. I feel refreshed, coming just right from from the gym, from the sauna, and when I came back here, honestly, I had to have a nap before I should start shooting. But it's fine now, and we can continue with our plan. And the plan is 7-string. So as I said already in my earlier video today, I do not consider myself like the super pro in regards to 7-string. I always wanted one. I have one now for about, let's say, 2 months. 2 months. And so for me, this is actually also like a journey, like a trip of finding new stuff and new inspiration, etc. It's like a new string, extra string, so to say, that I have available now. That's super cool, and yeah, that is, you know, a source of inspiration. Actually, it's quite cool. Yeah, like that. Good. What are my findings actually? I found actually that the distances from the strings to each other are probably slightly different. That is something that I really struggled with, to be honest. I really was just like, you know, grabbing not really the right strings, you know. It's like everything for me is tuned, my whole hand, and picking everything's tuned on 6 strings. And so I don't have to think of it, and this autopilot kind of didn't work in the beginning. I was constantly just like off somewhere. I really did some exercises first to get used to the strings and to the string distances. So what I actually did is like something, you know, have some fun, just play some open chords or whatever. Like I choose like something like that. And then simply picking it, right? Just like something like that. So just to get used to the range and to how the thing sits together, the instrument. I'll choose a clean tone for now. It's probably a bit nicer. But it's the same thing. I hope the volume is okay for this one. Yeah, nice. Right. Same thing. And so on. Yeah, so to get used to that. The same goes actually for playing as well, for fretting. So what I also did is like, okay, I grab sort of pentatonic. Yeah. If that's nicer for your ears, that's fine. I haven't developed specific exercise for that yet. You can also do like string skipping on a pentatonic, maybe something like that. Something like that. Backwards also. But that's already like a proper mind-breaking, finger-breaking, pick-breaking exercise. It's not the idea to kill the fun. It's just the idea to get used, you know, to the new concept and to the new instrument. What else? So those were well, 2 things. Or one thing, but for 2 aspects, like for the fretting as well as for the picking. For the picking hand, it was more important for me. Next one, the sound. You might notice that, and I think that's something that you should check first, that your usual sound settings with your amp, they probably don't match at all. So this instrument here, for example, is so unique, so different in the whole sound, that I had to adjust all my sound settings. Usually with my custom guitar here, with this one, it's still around, I play quite mid-rangey and also slightly bass heavy still, even though it's mahogany, and more creamy tone. And I use an impulse response with the Royer. So Royer ribbon mic. You know, I love ribbon mics. They have this really nice creamy tone, not too much harshness in the top end, which is really cool. Didn't work for this one at all. I had to change my impulse response settings actually to an MD421. You know, the little brick thing from, I think it's an AKG condenser mic, and that works very nice actually with the 7-string guitar. It's that one. And so on and so on. What else? Yeah, okay, then maybe that is now the question that many of you have in mind. So what changes when you're actually having an extra deep B string? In fact, I have this one tuned to B flat, by the way. Well, actually, I found the switch is not so remarkable. Basically what you have to do is whatever you play when it comes down to scales and pentatonic and stuff, like the chords is slightly different, but with the pentatonic and scales, basically anything that you play on the second string, like on the high B, you now have a high B and a low B, you know. Anything you play there, you basically have to copy over to the low B string as well, to the 7th string, right? Same as what you do with the E, what you always did on 6 strings with the E string. You always knew, okay, I have 2 E strings, so basically whatever I play on the E string, it's like I play on the low E string, I'll play on the high E string as well, as long as you practice or play in position, if you know. And that's the same here. So you now have 2 strings that you have double and that you basically simply have to copy over to the lower part. So it requires a little bit of thinking, but it's doable actually. You can, if you have your 6th string down quite well, then you can almost do that on the fly, because it's not that much. It's just like, okay, well, I'm playing there. It's like, okay, and there you go. Something that is a little bit tricky. That's why I wrote down the pentatonics. I'll put a link down in the video where you can download the whole set of pentatonics for a 7th string. I noted it in G. Not in A minor pentatonic, but a G minor pentatonic starting from the 3rd fret. Actually, just for the fun of it, just to break out of the habit of everything A or something, right? And of course, this is by the way not a G. I'm still thinking E, but this is then here. What do we actually? What do we actually have here? It must be like a D. That is here. Low D on the third string, on the third fret. So let's quickly go through that. So if you play the minor pentatonic on a seventh string, it's like basically what happens. You start like the usual root, minor third, 4, 5, 7. It's always the same, so nothing changes here. Right? And then you go further, and then something interesting happens. Now you hear on the G string, and so you have to actually change position here, and then you see this one here. This is the B string, and this is the E string here. Right, so you're ending up with a pattern like this. I still have to think as well every now and again. So what's actually quite interesting, if you skip, and that is like what sometimes throws me out, if you skip the B string, whatever you play on the B string, and start thinking from that pattern from the E string as you always did, then you'll find this one. See that? And that pattern actually is the third pattern of the minor pentatonic scale if you think of it from from a sixth string guitar. It's usually that one. It's like you play your A minor pentatonic scale, then it's the second position, that's the third position. Yeah. So basically your third position pattern now becomes your first position pattern because you're adding the low B string. So that sometimes throws you off, you know, but it's like as long as you, don't think too much and just practice it, it's okay. But every now and again, you get this hint from somewhere at the back of your head, like, whoa, you're in the wrong position. And then you go like, and then, and then usually you're off. Yeah, so that can still happen. So that's one that I have as well. Some interesting patterns you still have, for example, which one was that? I think that was the fourth position, is purely symmetrical now. That's actually quite cool as well. Fourth position, that's that one here. So fourth position in the pentatonic scale is actually what it actually is, it is the first position of a minor pentatonic scale when starting from the sixth string, from the E string. Right? And if you now you see. So this is your B, so you copy the B over to the low B, so then you have two minor thirds, then you have three full steps, and then you have another 2 times minor third steps. It's quite interesting, so you still tend, or I tend, to make this actually my basic starting point for the pentatonic, but it's wrong. right? Because if you start thinking from the low B string as your root where everything builds from, then you're simply wrong, because then you're starting from the fifth rather than you're starting from the root. So you always have to shift that in your mind. So although this is a bit more awkward to play, this is your root pattern. So pay attention to that, and you'll just start practicing. Good. So far about the pentatonic. What else? Chords. Okay, change sound quickly. Chords you have to adjust a little bit if you play. Well, everything stays the way it is when. So with E, or starting from E, everything is pretty much the same. The problem that you have sometimes is that, you know, when looking top down, the E is now the second string in your, you know, it's second from the lower ones. So you tend to think of it as being the A. Right, and you sometimes want to play the A patterns, and but the A is actually the third, right? The A string. So that's something that also throws you off every now and again. But then there's also opportunity for new stuff, actually, for new chords to be developed. Anyway, so if you play, for example, a B minor, or in this case I have it tuned half a step down, so this is actually B flat here if you want to play along with me. So if you want to play a B or B flat minor, so this is what you get. So it's a very nice sound, but this is an Aeolian chord, so to say, because this is the minor 6 here. Yeah. And I mean, how you incorporate a minor 6? You can incorporate a minor 6. There's no problem as long as this is your root chord. But as soon as you want to shift or something, or you want to play something Dorian or something else, then this minor 6 gets in the way, and it always gives a very distinctive tone to the chord. So it limits the options of stuff that you can actually play over that chord, because you always have to incorporate the minor 6 in your scale, because that you use for soloing, because it's also in the chord, right? Despite it's a very nice sounding chord, I tend to add the pinky here on the high E string and the second fret, actually. Wonderful, but very, very narrow in its harmonic possibilities. So the thing is, it's like some people actually, I found a video where they simply change the tuning of the G string, so that downshift is not happening anymore. If you want to try that out, like, just look for it. They explain you how to do it. I tried that as well, and I found it making the problem worse, because now you have a completely new instrument where you basically have to learn everything new, because now all the stuff that you know already from the 6-string instrument doesn't match either, right? So now you have to completely rethink the entire the entire instrument. But I mean, okay, that's another opportunity for finding new voicings, finding new sounds. That's also good. Maybe I'll get back to that later. At the moment, I didn't like that. So like, first of all, I'd like to get the instrument as it is with 7 strings more down. Yeah. So what is the option then? What you can do actually, you know. So you have your minor 6. So you have to do something with the pinky. For example, something like that here. Now it's a minor 7 chord, which is still a little more open. Yeah. Now you can play also Dorian over it or something, not limited to Aeolian scale or something. Right. You can also shift that. Yeah. For example, right? That's what I do. So this is becoming my main root minor chord, starting from the B string, right? Now here you have to look in the major. Major is like, play around with it a little bit, yeah. Or you can simply not use all of the strings. That's also fine. What I noticed is actually that if you play the standard triad fingering for a major chord, that would be that one. All right. If you play that up one fret. Then you get a very nice major 7 kind of sound, right? That would be usually then here with the root on the first fret on the B. How do you bar this? It's gonna be tricky. If you have 6 fingers, okay, that's fine. Otherwise, you'll have to drop the root. You don't really need the root because usually you have a bass player or some other instrument that already incorporates the root. So that's not really necessary to have the root down as the first or the lowest note. You have the root here already anyway. So it's already incorporated, just not as the lowest note. So what you can do here, for example, if you want to bar this, alright? Yeah. So you simply play your can you see that? You simply play your major triad, and then you bar basically the lower or the higher here, the higher strings, and you basically get a major 7. That's a classic major 7 sound. And what I also found, in general, if you really want to use the root, right? Then you probably have to, swap. That you start with the root here, almost like a sweep, and then drop it. So that is something that I would keep in mind for 7-string guitars in general. If you want to play nice voicings, that every now and again, you cannot simply just grab a chord, press it, and then just strum it. You probably have to split it up a little bit. Yeah? that you at least, something like that. Something in there. But it gives you nice new possibilities for nice voicings and nice new sounds. Actually, that's what I wanted to say. So I think that's a pretty cool thing, actually. So one of my favorite minor chords actually is this one here. But it's the one with the pinky. Remember this one? Second string, second fret on the G string. And now I also add the second string on the B string. Wonderful, cool sound. So if you want to play this now as a barred chord, you don't have any fingers left. So what you do, you play it as a minor 7. Basically, I think that's a minor 7/9, that voicing. So you lift basically the middle finger here, or just swap the middle finger for the index finger, and now you have something. Now you have something where you have one finger left that you can bar with. You see, you get some cool sounds out of it, actually, just like by playing around. And again, I'd like to encourage you to write those things down, because you keep forgetting that. You know, you have a new instrument, you have a new challenge ahead of you. Write your book, any cool chord that you find by just playing around with it. Write it down so that you have in the end you have a little library of cool 7-string chords and voicings and all that kind of stuff. That's like, I'm signing off for now. This was just like my first impression on 7 strings. And I think I'll randomly continue on this as well. As soon as I find out some new stuff, I'll let you guys know. For now, I'm signing off and say so long.